I have the music on, so I think I'm the only one that's like, yeah.
I don't hear nothing.
All right, my friends, welcome to another episode of Christian Podcast Latino.
Yeah.
Come on, cheer up, cheer up. Yeah. We have many friends today, all wearing black. Men today wear black.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so let's introduce everybody. We have Mr. David Barrera, our friend.
Hello.
Right here across from me. We have Mr. Norman Jackson.
Right here.
Sitting on the gray couch next to Millie. We have Millie Gudiño, my wife, right there in the middle. We have another David, so we'll see how we go about two Davids on the show. Mr. David Israel. Welcome to the show. And I'm Beto Gudiño.
Thank you.
And today I want to talk about this, okay?
Uh-huh.
We have Christian musicians in the show. And I want to talk about the reality of Christian musicians. So one of the realities that I want to kind of talk about is David Barrera and I started a podcast a while back called the 1564 Podcast. All his idea, where he wanted to interview musicians and people in ministry, worship leaders and stuff like that. And I think today it's kind of like a little bit of a continuation of that idea. Okay, so he might, at some point I might just pass the ball to David and say, David, just take the lead on the conversation, because he's so phenomenal at that, right? But one of the things I want to just put on the table before we get anywhere is that you guys have played with everybody out there, but you kind of never really met each other, David and Norman.
Yeah.
So I want to just kick it off right there. Can you tell us, especially, you two, and then we'll go to David Israel, just introduce real quick who you are, a little bit of what you do. So let's start with David Barrera.
A little bit of who I am and what I do.
Yes, sir.
Well, I lead worship here at Palm Harvest Church.
Nice.
I'm also a freelance musician doing the whole circuit here in Southern California, as you're, Norman, as you're very familiar with. And I was telling you guys before we started, I was telling Norman that I met him a long time ago at the infamous or famous Steve's Barbecue.
Steve Barbecue, right? Yeah.
Where a bunch of top 40 bands would go play back in the day.
Yes.
And that place is in Whittier.
It's in Whittier, yeah.
It's in Whittier. It's a restaurant, or what? Is it still there?
It's still there, yeah.
Okay.
It's a barbecue spot.
It's a barbecue spot.
They don't have live music no more. After COVID, they stopped or something. Or they had it for some time and then they stopped, something like that.
And it wasn't a very big place from what I remember.
It wasn't a big place.
It was a tight spot for the band.
Very tight, but very, very intimate.
Yes.
It's a very intimate spot.
Right.
But, I kind of like playing at that spot. It's just the music, the vibe, and just, just hanging out with people and stuff like that. It's different, right? You know, but it was, it's funny because, one day I'm at Staples Center playing.
Right.
Then the next day I'm at Steve Barbecue.
Right.
A little small room that, it's probably almost the stage is probably the size of this where we at right now.
Right.
Maybe a little smaller, but I guess, music is very, to me, I tell people it's very spiritual. Music, it's like the Holy Spirit. We don't see it, but we hear it and we feel it.
Yep.
The same thing with music. We don't see music in the air, but we hear it and we feel it. So to me, when we're together tight like that, it brings us even closer.
Yeah.
Than when we're on a stage, playing in front of thousands and thousands of people.
Right.
It's a different feeling. It could be, there's a lot of excitement to that, but I feel more. I feel the music even more when it's more intimate.
Right.
In an intimate setting.
That's cool.
I don't know if I don't know if you were still answering your question.
No.
Went into something else.
No, that's great.
But it's funny how. So we've met a long time ago.
Right.
I got Alzheimer's. I don't remember everything.
Right.
And that's a joke, okay? But
old timers.
but this is what I could truly say this is what we're actually meeting today. You know?
Right.
And it's funny how you know a lot of the people that I know.
Right.
Everyone that I work with, you work with, and you know.
Right.
You know, but we've never met.
Right.
It's a really small circuit, you know, which I mean is pretty cool. I like it, you know. And nice to meet you.
Yeah,
you know?
same. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
And there's a few other guys too that I haven't met that like I've heard all about. Or I follow the classic. We follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah.
And we like our stuff, but I've never met them. Like,
you know what's
actually
crazy about me? Because I don't have Instagram or none of that stuff.
I don't know what it is.
So I like to say IG. I'm like, what's GI? You know, just messing around. You know. But yeah, I don't have none of that stuff. But I mean, I have a lot of work. You know. But we know all the same people.
Right.
You know. So I'm in the industry doing this, doing that.
Same.
Yeah. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. That's
awesome.
Yeah. And
it's awesome. No, do you? I mean, yeah, it sounds like you're in the same industry. Does it matter what instrument you play? Is that a thing? You know, I'm a bass player, or just
well, to be in the music industry, it doesn't really matter. But like a rhythm section, like drum, bass, guitar, keys. I can't leave myself out.
Yeah. The core.
We tend to like the core. We tend to get more work.
Right.
It's more on demand. You know, this might sound kind of bad, but I feel like rhythm sections, we're like the sharks of the sea.
Right.
You know, and then you got the string players and the trumpet players. They're more like the shrimp of the sea, you know. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But you only get a few like in rhythm. I mean, it's
so you're harder to find.
It's harder to hire, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, because it is hard finding people that know the style or the genre.
Right.
You know, so and the ones that do know it, they're always working. You know, so like if you call me for something, right? You call me a month before, the chances of me doing it is probably gonna be 0. You know, I probably won't be able to do it.
Right.
If you call me the day before, or if you call me the day before and I'm off the day, I'm probably not gonna do it because I take days off to hang out with the family, you know, and spend time with the family and all that. I gotta take days off.
Right.
Yeah. If I wanted to, I could probably work every day of the week, but I don't because you know it's just I don't want to be away from the family.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, and that's why you're here today because I've been trying to connect you guys for a long time. Like I remember for the longest time because I told David Israel over here. I want to know his story, you know? And we were doing this podcast and I told David, hey, we should bring him and just have him connect, right? But I know how busy you are, you know, so it just kind of hadn't happened. Yeah. But today's happening, so I'm excited for that.
Hey, I got tricked into this, but
so a big part of that is thanks to David Israel. So David Israel, would you just introduce yourself real quick? Because you kind of made it happen.
He's the man of the
part
hour.
of this.
Well, my name is David Israel. I've been knowing Norman since 2001.
2002.
2001. 2002. Yeah, 2002.
June 7th.
Yeah, June 7th.
I don't know how I remember that.
That's nice.
Yeah, we've been friends for a long, long time. We mainly hang out and just make music whenever we hang out.
That's cool.
It's just hard because we're both busy, you know, so it's like, he's one of those friends that no matter how much time passes in between, we know exactly where we're at.
Yeah.
You know, we're not needy or anything like that. But I kind of had a trick him to come over here. Make sure you shower.
Good thing I
shower.
did.
That's how we really made it
No
happen.
ripped jeans. No ripped jeans.
Oops. There we go. Look at that. But Millie's wearing your style too, so
There you go.
it's safe today.
It's great.
That's great. Well, thank you, David, for bringing Norman Jackson today. So, I mean, you said music is spiritual.
Yes.
And it's kind of like the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Right? But also music, I think out there, you guys have experience playing with, let's say, non-Christian artists.
Yeah.
And for example, I just saw a post on Facebook by a guy I follow. I think it's from El Camino Church, or at least that's where I met him. And he was hanging out with a guy named Abraham Laboriel, which is one of the legendary bass player.
Yeah. Legend.
So he's hanging out with him in Mexico City because they went to see a show, Paul McCartney, right? And then I guess, David, you told me that Abraham Laboriel's son is the drummer for Paul McCartney, right?
Yeah.
So they get the connection. So he's like, he's taking a selfie with Sir Paul McCartney and with Abraham Laboriel.
Yeah.
And he's like, how lucky am I that today, I'm meeting the Beatle. Right? I mean, who gets to do that in their lifetime? Yeah. So anyways, all that to say, like you guys as musicians, and these guys are, the reason I'm saying is because they're Christian guys. Yeah. Right? And you guys experiment that a lot. You play with a lot of, like, let's just say, like, non-Christians. Yeah. How do you, is there a difference, when it comes to playing with?
There is a very big difference,
What is it?
To me, like, I mean, playing in church is not a gig, I don't see it as a gig, even though I work for the church and I'm a music director at Victory Outreach Chino.
Oh,
wow. So, we, it's definitely, it's more spiritual, definitely. Because now we're dealing with people's lives, people that are broken that come into the church that, so I don't see it as a gig. I see it more like a privilege and kind of like being able to do this when I'm in church. And even outside of church, like we try to kind of keep the same testimony and be the light, be the light in the world. Also, how we're in church, try to do it in the world, like, playing out there with whoever, so it's definitely a difference to me when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing about secular that, not everyone's going to think like you think, no one's going to think like no one's, not everyone's a believer, mm-hmm. But believe it or not, a lot of the people that I play with, they believe in God, but it's a difference between believing in God and like walking with God, and walking in his path, right. So it's a difference. But they, but they try, I guess, I'm not saying that they're bad people because there's a lot of good people, but, like the Bible says, only, Jesucristo el camino, la verdad y la vida, right. Only through Jesus we could go to heaven, right? Or through Jesus, right? Yes. So to me, it's the same thing. Like with them, like you can know, about God and you can say, oh yeah, God's in my life, but I feel like it's not, but it's not enough, like unless you really walk that path, and really believe in deep inside and have that relationship, that's where it all changes. Yeah. So that, so I don't know if I answered the question, but you
did. What do you think, Mr. David Barrera?
I agree, and it drives me. And I'm sorry I'm going to say this, but it drives me crazy when I see Christian musicians go like, "Oh, I'm going to my gig," and they're going to a church to play, and it's because I share that same sentiment. I'm like, it's not a gig, dude. Like, it's not, because it's very different. Like, and I think I've told you and Mike, who's here, it's like my mentality is different, when I'm playing out or when I'm playing at church. When we're playing at church, just like Norman said, we're dealing with people's lives. We are, at that point, we are vessels. God has to move through us. You know what I mean? I'm just there to be a vessel. I'm not there to entertain. Obviously, the excellence is still the same. That's the one thing I will carry in both. It's like, okay, I want to play excellent, in both scenarios. But obviously, I know that this one, it's like, okay, not only preparing and being excellent for the Lord, but leading a life that's, worship unto the Lord. Because again, we are vessels. It's like, we're just there to be used. We're not there to be looked at. I mean, people do look at us because we're in the front, but it's not about us. So I think that's one of the things when I see a young musician go like, oh, I'm going to my gig, because especially when they play. Now it's really famous to play like at big churches. Yeah. That's like a big thing now, as you know, to get hired by, name whatever mega church here in Southern California. And obviously you're more than likely getting hired to play there. And they're like, I'm going to my gig. So I'm like, no, man, it's not a gig. It's something completely different. And you got to prep yourself in a different way. Yeah. Your heart has to be different, So yeah, totally agree with you, man. Yeah.
That's cool. Millie?
I'm there,
Because Millie is the worshiper, right? Millie is the one that comes and worships.
Yes. Right? And for me, it's super important time, before the sermon, because that's how I prepare myself. And I'm like, God, through music, through melody, speaks to me. Yeah. And I'm there asking him, what do you have for me today? Like I was like, why every Sunday I cry? I just don't want to be, sing. I'm right there in front because I get so distracted. Right. But everybody can see me too, right? Are you okay? Like, I'm okay. It's happy tears.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Very powerful. Music's it's all over us. Everything. I can go like this, and that has a note. That's music. That's it's everywhere. Like we cannot escape it. We cannot. You go outside and just hearing the ambient. That's music. Right. That's a sound. That's a note. Yeah. if you know, I started getting all deep into this kind of stuff, like, you know, but you know, just so we know, that's why to me it's like the Holy Spirit. It's everywhere, you know, and I like we don't see it, but we feel it, we hear it, you know,
and it moves you.
Did you grow up going to a Hispanic church? A Latino church?
Yeah.
Like, did you grow up, David, going to a Latino church? So all of it, like I did too. So did you grow up with like the whole jubilo, remolineando, and all that stuff?
I played all the tunga.
Right.
I played, you know, but it's funny. Because when I tunga, yeah.
Yes,
Tunga, dude.
That is accurate, though. That is accurate.
Yeah. But you know, when I first started playing music, I was playing at a Baptist church. I was 12 years old playing drums in a Baptist church.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I started, and then there's a whole story, you know. So I got to experience a little bit of everything, like from the Baptist church to the Spanish church to the gospel church. Right. Now everything we're doing is kind of like gospel CCM. Yeah, everything's had, you know, I mean, the music has changed a lot in churches. Right. You know, so
but I mean, the reason I brought that up because there's a certain thing about growing up in a church like that, that kind of like sets you up mentally for later on playing music. I don't know if you share.
I think even when I was 12 years old playing in a Baptist church, the music was super easy. You know, quartet gospel music. It wasn't something intricate or complex where like, oh my God, you got to be this crazy musician to play it. But there's a certain feel that you know, by playing the music that influenced me and gave me a certain rhythm within, you know. So then when I got to a Spanish church, another different feel, another, you know, influence, and then, you know, but then from there everything kind of, you know, I think that music, it helps you kind of like the blues. The blues is very basic, a 12-bar blues, you know, but that's the beginning of like R&B or a lot of music and jazz, even jazz and all that. So that's the beginning of where it starts. It's so not complex, nothing crazy, but you can make it crazy after a while. But learning that the basics of blues takes you into jazz and all that. Right. You know, because I play jazz too. I've been able to play a little bit of everything.
What's one? Do you have a favorite genre? Or?
You know, this is me just as a human and what I like musically. Jazz. Really? I love jazz. Like if I had to choose one style of music to play or genre, it would be jazz. Whether it's jazz with a gospel singer or whatever, but it would be jazz.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because it requires a lot from me. Like
makes you think.
It makes you think, yeah. And it's very improv. There's a lot of improv involved in that. Like you know, you learn all these crazy scales and chords and techniques and, you know, everything, all that. Right. But once you learn all that, then you use that. But now is how you can interpret that too. Yeah. You know, I could take a jazz song and play it a certain way, and another guy will come in and play it his way. You know, we all, you know, you can put a sheet of music, and say we all play the same note. He plays the same note, but we're all going to interpret that different, with a different feel. Right. And I think a lot of it has to do even in church, like playing in church. You know, those influences, and you build a certain rhythm within you. You internalize a certain like rhythm in you, and so that's why like I will probably play it a little bit different from that person. I'm not saying it's gonna be better than that person or worse, but it's just different.
It's just different.
Yeah. Just like a painter. That's cool. A painter, you know, tell a painter, oh, paint me a house, you know, and they say they give them something. Okay, this can be like a little sketch or whatever, right? They're gonna paint it the same. Well, they're gonna paint it, but in their own way. Right.
Yeah. There's music has different genres, and there's David Israel's genre. Yeah. Right. Which I don't know. I don't know what it is, but you know, we're still trying to figure it out. Yeah. What genre
world
you're
music?
in.
Is it world music? Yeah, everybody asks me what style of music you play. I'm like, I don't know.
And nobody knows.
It's a fusion of everything.
And even me that I help them, you know, pretty much compose and arrange the music. I don't even know sometimes, like, you know, but it's somewhere around pop and who knows what else, you know. but it's a certain influence, a certain feel too, you know. I do like recently, like you know, I do mix and engineering, so I mix music. But one thing I've learned that after you learn all those technical words and the equipment and all that stuff, it's how does it sound and feel. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's how does it sound and feel.
Wow.
You know. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah,
because you could try to make a, you know, you can have the greatest song in the world, but if without the right mix, you know, people are not going to feel it, hear it, or feel it. Yeah, the same thing. Yeah,
that's so important because like for example, I love music with lyrics, right? With somebody singing over the song. But I think like I so agree with that because like I tell my son, he's learning the guitar and he's getting pretty good. But I tell him it's not so much about what you do on the guitar. Just make it sound good to fit. Yeah. In this case, we're playing worship. Right?
Yeah.
So just make it sound good so that it fits the entire body of music we're doing.
Right.
And make it well so that you don't stand out as the wrong note too, And I mean, there's room for, okay, I hit the wrong note here or there.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, try your best, right? Practice, get really good at it. And then also kind of like blend in. It's not really about you standing out. There might be moments for that, right? There's solos in music and things like that. But you need to be a part of the whole. Yeah. Because in this case, it's worship and it's about what we're singing about. Yeah. Right? So how are we carrying people into, in this case, the presence of God? Right? So when we came and played, did we move people to connect with God, or did we move people to look at how cool my chord or my progression was?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, there's a balance, I would say, right? Because you can also get creative, and there's room for like sounding great and maybe adding your taste and all of that. But that's so valuable because I feel as a people in worship, I see that a lot, right? Like where music helps people connect with God. And that's why I love like Millie's example, because she's not musically oriented at all. Yeah. But she is, because she loves music, and music drives her to worship God. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I think that's a big thing
and when I feel that I am not connected, that I'm missing something, or that I can hear God, I put more worship music.
Yeah.
I need you, God. Where are you? I just feel like you're not here, but I know you're here, because it's not a feeling. Nothing that I can do, I'm going to make you to don't love me. I know you love me and you're here all the time, right? That's why you sent us your son, Jesus. So he died for us, and he gave us this beautiful gift that we're talking about, the Holy Spirit. Yeah. It's like no matter what I do, he's always here. But what I can feel you, why I feel like you're not here, right? Because this time is hard for me. I'm on pain, or I don't like my situation. Where are you? Right. And you know what? I'm fighting with this. And sometimes we always say that it's the devil. No, sometimes it's us. It's us, right? Yeah. It's us, because we want something so bad that the world is offering me, and I don't have it. So it's me. The devil is not even there. The devil, So I just connect, and I start like, I feel you. You're here. Thank you so much. Like finally, but I'm looking for him, and I use music.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like we give the devil too much credit. Yeah. What's going on in our life.
Stop blaming the devil.
Everybody. Yeah. And it's, I think it's up to us. The devil's been defeated already. Amen. It's really, it's us that we need to be strong and see like, okay, I need to take care of this. I need to make sure that, don't do this no more, or, whatever whatever it might be, or if we're going through problems, family problems or anything, it's up to us to really like, I think we should, we still got to pray for it and just tell God to give us the strength, to go through it. But let's not blame the devil. Forget him. He's a nobody, He's
That's
not
good.
Yeah, it's up to us. Like, we need to be strong and like, let's move forward with this. Lord, give us the strength to move forward.
That's so good. Yeah. Well, speaking of moving forward, we were in a gig together with David Israel playing some songs in LA. I think we were at the radio station, right? And then we went to have breakfast with you, Norman, and you were sharing a little bit of your story. Yeah. And I say move on because you came from Honduras. Latin America, Honduras, right? Yeah. Would you share a little bit of that journey?
Yeah.
What was it like for you?
There's a lot of things in between all that, but I try to, as much as I can remember. But, I was born in Honduras, 1981, November 8th. My birthday was last Friday. As a matter of fact.
Happy birthday.
I turned 23.
Oh, that's right.
I was born in 1981, so I know your age.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, so, I was born in Honduras, 1981. And I came here to the U.S. when I was 7 years old. but I did not come through a plane or anything like that. We came walking, going over hills, bridges, you know, as an immigrant. I was an immigrant. I mean, we almost got killed somewhere. I don't know where in, I'm guessing somewhere in Mexico. They were trying to rob us, you know, guys with machetes, you know. It's crazy. Like I remember another time we were crossing a river, and I mean the water's up to like here for me. And the water was like kind of like it looked like a latte, you know, that color, and, you know, because of mud and all that stuff. Yeah, mixed with the water, you know. So it was that. That's another adventure that I.
At 7 years old.
At 7 years old, you know, at the time,
Younger than Melody.
At the time, to me, it wasn't dangerous because I'm a kid, right?
Right.
Usually, kid,
You're just following.
But now that I think about it, I'm like, man, that's very dangerous. Like that could have, that, you know.
You have kids now.
I have kids now. Yeah.
You think about them like going through that and.
Yeah, I remember crossing a bridge that was made of nothing but ropes.
Jeez,
you know,
man.
it was like, you know, and it wasn't far. It was probably like, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 feet, right? Long. But if you fall,
right,
man, you would go and hit these stones, and because it's like a little river with like all these stones down there. I remember crossing that. I crossed that by myself, and it was me, my dad, and my sister. My dad grabbed my sister and took her. She was like a year younger than me, but I went by myself. I remember eating some really spicy beans somewhere in there. You know, yeah, I don't even know where. But then once we crossed,
spicy beans,
yeah, it's kind of Mexico.
Eh?
Picantes,
yeah, picantes, yeah. So
beans.
Frijoles, yeah.
Oh, frijoles, yeah.
Frijoles picantes.
Yeah.
I thought beans like
no,
like person or something.
Beans. Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Some salt. Yeah. So once we crossed to the U.S., we were on the side of the freeway for I want to say maybe 2 or 3 days, waiting for someone to come pick us up. I guess someone's supposed to come pick us up, but it took that long. And I remember when I was laying there, I don't know which day it was, but everyone just laying there because during the day it probably had to be like 2 or 3 p.m. You know, the sun's still up. We're laying there, everyone's asleep, right? And I'm all the way to the edge, so it was about 15 people.
Okay,
you know, it was not just like us three; it was like about 16 of us. And I remember something woke me up. And because when I woke up, I see this thing coming from far, about maybe 10, like from here to the screen, about 10, 15, you know, feet away. And it was a snake, a rattlesnake.
What?
Yeah. And I'm all the way to the edge. So imagine if I wouldn't woken up, like that thing would have probably bit me first or something, you know, like or got me, you know. Luckily, I opened my eyes and I was looking at it for like a few seconds. And then, like, I realized, like, oh, it's a snake. And I jumped, culebra, you know, like, I started jumping, got all scared,
that means snake.
Okay, culebra.
Culebra, yeah. Did I say it right? You know? So everyone gets up, starts running. Well, not running. Everyone just kind of gets up, and my dad grabbed a stick and killed the snake. Wow. Took the rattle. I don't know for what, you know. Yeah, he's like, I know. He's like, oh, I could sell this, you know. Yeah. Like, really? We're in the U.S. now, you know. Yeah,
make money.
So so that was that adventure. As far as that, and then finally we got to that's in San Diego. We finally got to Long Beach, where we met with my mom. Because my mom was here before us, like maybe a year before us. And then after that, oh man, all hell broke loose between my dad and my mom. Their marriage, you know, it was pretty bad. I won't talk bad about them, but you know, they had a really rough marriage. You know, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen them fight physically. You know, I've seen my mom cheat on my dad cheat on my mom. Like, I mean, it's all
toxic.
Like, toxic. Yeah, wow. You know, and they're good people, but I guess they were just meant for each other. Yeah, you know, problems. You know, so from there, we got to Long Beach and it was just, you know, we were living with both of them, but then my dad moved out, and so we were with my mom. Then I don't know how long after that, I was still a kid. I was like 9 years old by this time. My dad came to pick us up. My mom said, "Oh, grab all your clothes." We put them in a bag, and me and my sister, we took all of our clothes, and she was like, "Oh, you guys going to a party?" You know, so we were going to a party, you know. And we went to a party and we never went back with my mom.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess now that I'm a grown, I I understand that maybe financially she couldn't really take care of us because it was us, me and my sister. And then I had 2 younger sisters that she had. Right. They were like 2 and 3 at the time. So yeah, it was probably too much for her. Like it was just too much for her to handle. So I don't, I'm not mad at my mom or resent her because of that or anything like that. Like I love my mom, and I love my dad too. We all have mistakes. We all make mistakes, we all, have our own, but I'm not going to judge you because of the mistake or anything or judge them because of that. Now that I'm older, I've heard her story, her side of the story and my dad's side of the story, and at the end of the day, it's like, you guys just need to get together, jealousy and jealousy, anyways, through all that, I haven't played an instrument yet. I'm not a musician at all, but I would always be fascinated by music and musicians' life. Like I would just like I used to like watching drummers, because every kid wants to be a drummer. Right. So I remember like anywhere we went and there was live instruments or live music, I was like, man, one day I want to be a musician, not to make money or anything like that. It's just I'm a kid and I just wanted to play music because I love it. And I remember when I think turned like maybe 10 or 11, my one of my aunts bought me a drum set. My dad bought it. I don't know. They got me a drum set and I started playing drums. So I remember my first beat was boom, ga, boom, boom, ga, boom, ga. One of my dad's friends was a conguero, and he showed me that beat, and that's where I pretty much started playing music. And so it was my dad he sang and he played a little bit of piano, just enough to play simple chords or whatever. So
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad's a singer. He was a singer and he played guitar too. The only thing, my dad in 1993, he got shot. They were trying to rob him.
Oh wow!
He was at a mechanic shop, where we used to live actually too. I lived in a mechanic shop, so I guess he was under a car working on whatever, and these 2 guys came in, and so my dad saw when they came in. He got out from another car. And they were like, "Oh, give us your money, whatever." And at the time, my dad said he had like $400 in his pocket. But in 1993, $400 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to give it to them, so he started fighting with one of them. This is a story he told me. He started fighting with one of them, and the other guy got scared, nervous, and he shot him.
Wow.
They hit him here. The only thing my dad said, he heard the gunshot, but he didn't know he was shot.
Oh.
Yeah.
So much adrenaline.
Yeah, from the fight. And my dad was a boxer too, so he knew how to fight. Yeah. My dad was a boxer, so he knew how to fight. So he heard the gunshot, like he's fighting with the guy, pop, heard the gunshot, and then they run off, the guys. And so he said he started walking like towards the office of the mechanic shop where he was working. Starts walking and try to open the door, and his hand wouldn't respond.
Oh wow!
He's like, what's going on? Like he couldn't move his hand.
Oh wow!
And then he said that his chest started getting like by the heart. Well, not by the heart, but this part of his chest started getting swelled up, like getting like his swelling up, right? And then he said blood starts squirting out.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want to be too graphic. I don't know if I'm too graphic, but he said
graphic, man.
Yeah. He said blood starts squirting out, and I'm like, I mean, I was a kid. I was in 5th grade at the time. Wow. But we were with my mom, actually. We were hanging out. We were not living with my mom, but we were out there, just visiting my mom in Long Beach. And so then he said when he saw that, he got dizzy and he fainted. Wow. And the other guy, there was another guy inside the shop, his co-worker, wouldn't open the door at all. Yeah.
Wow, he was so scared.
He was scared too, yeah. He was scared, so, but he didn't even want to, after they left, he didn't want to open the door. And finally, the ambulance came, they took him and all that stuff. We didn't find out he got shot till like maybe 3-4 days later. Because, back in 1993, we didn't have cell phones, so, or was it GI or IG?
Yeah,
Instagram. Yes.
We didn't have none of that. So, so we didn't find out till like way later.
Right.
So I learned how to drive at a very young age. Like I started driving way before that. I started driving at the age of 9. Nice. But most of my dad got out the hospital. Guess who was taking him to his appointments? I was.
Really?
Yeah, I would drive him to his appointments in 5th grade. Like I would take him to doctor appointment or therapy appointments or whatever he had.
That's legal in Long Beach or what?
Huh?
No.
No.
That's illegal
in Honduras.
No, it's not.
It's legal in Honduras.
Yeah. And my dad still had that mentality, I guess. So he showed me how to drive. I was driving. I've been driving since. Picked up a lot of bad habits, I guess, from it. But so I would take him to his appointments, And it's funny because one time I actually got stopped by it was me, my dad, and my sister. I was 5th grade, same year. We went to the movies, and after that night, my dad let me drive home after the movies. It was nighttime. And there was what do you call those? Like a retén or what is it?
Like a checkpoint.
Checkpoint. There was a checkpoint.
Retén.
Yeah. So there's a checkpoint, and it was too late for me to bust a U. I'm driving, okay? So we get to the checkpoint.
What?
And then the cop, I open my window, and the cop flashed the light on me, and he's looking at me like and my dad's next to me, right? And my sister's in the back.
Did you grow up a mustache or something?
I know. No, they ended up taking me. They threw me in the car, and nice later.
Come here.
No. So the cop looks at me, he flashed the light, and he's like, "How old are you?" I'm like, I think I told him I was 11 at the time, and he's like, "Are you supposed to be driving?" I'm like, "No." Then he pointed the light at my dad. And I looked at my dad, and I don't know how he did it, but he made his eye cry. He was crying,
Your dad.
And he told the cop that his vision was hurting, so that's why he let me drive.
Oh my God.
I'm like, man, my dad's a good actor. And then
He's an artist. Your dad's an artist.
I know. And then from there, the cop let us go. He let me drive home.
Wow.
He told me, okay, well, just get home in the city, and he let us drive. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Officer Ted. If you're listening for that.
Yeah, I know. Thank God. Yeah, I know.
Different times.
Yeah.
So that was that. I started getting into music at the age of 12. Really playing when I started playing at this small church. Yeah. And when I say small, I mean I was playing in front of like 10 people.
Right.
It's just funny because it's my first time playing actually in front of people. I remember that day. Man, my legs were shaking like nothing. I mean, like they're like nonstop. I'm like this at the drums, like this. I'm like shaking, and the beat was just that's all I had to play,
right.
But yeah, I was so nervous. First time playing in front of 10 people. Yeah. Now I've played in front of like 90,000, 100,000, and I don't get nervous like that. Unless I don't know the music.
Right.
Yeah. That's the only time if I'm not prepared. But 99% of the time I'm prepared. Yeah, that 1% is for the rest of the band that are not prepared. But so yeah, 12 years old. That's where my whole journey in music starts. From there, I picked up within that same church. I picked up bass. I picked up guitar and keys. Keys was the last instrument I played at. I started playing at the age of 16. But I also got into jazz once I got to high school. I quit playing drums and I got into jazz, and that's where I learned, theory, harmony, all the boring stuff. And from there, I just kind of kept going and working in the industry, different churches, different people. By the time I hit 22, I got my first gig. I knew David by this time, and I was before that, I was playing with a band called Roca Firme. Yeah. We actually started this band in 1998. Wow. I was 16 years old when we started that band. Mm-hmm. I was still in high school, actually. I was, I think, a junior in high school when we started that band, and we did, I think, record our first album, which I listened back.
It was like a hardcore rock band.
Yes, when we first started, it wasn't that. It was more like disco, who knows what,
Nice.
Yeah, like David's genre. Okay.
Yeah. But we're still developing a style.
Right.
And then finally we end up being more like hardcore rock, But so we recorded our first album. I don't even know how long it took to record that thing, but I was in high school. Nice. Then from there we signed to a label in 2002, label called Zion Music Records. And
in Whittier?
In Whittier, yeah. They were
in Whittier.
In Whittier. And actually the studio in Uptown Whittier.
Yeah.
That was a label. That was Zion Music Records.
Oh,
you know JP?
Yeah.
Okay, so his dad and another guy named Mike, they actually started this label at the time. Yeah. And it's like 2002.
Yeah.
So we signed to that label and we finished our album, another album with them. But by that time we had a better understanding of like the music we want to do and how we want to do it. So it was, we were the first Spanish hard rock band doing Spanish music in the Christian world.
I saw them live one time too.
Yeah. Did you see me? Was I in the band?
No, you weren't.
I was in there no more probably.
When was your last show with them? This was in 20...
My last show was December 3rd, 2003.
Okay, so this was like 05.
Okay, yeah, no, I was already...
Was that 05? I don't know, but it was out in like Lake Elsinore in like some hockey rink.
Okay, yeah, that was. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
they're playing slipping.
Yeah, so like hockey rink in like the middle of nowhere in like Lagos.
So, yeah, that was a long time. Yeah.
So I don't think
that was maybe way after me.
Yeah.
So we end up doing the label thing, and I think I left the band after when you have a whole bunch of guys and young guys that they all want a part of something, it happens, whatever. So anyways, I left the band, and then at the age of 22, I joined. I didn't even audition. Actually, I did a jazz gig with a big band. Mm. It was me, playing piano with a big band, like full horn section. I mean, a lot of Thundercat was playing bass.
Oh, really?
At the time, yeah. This is before he was Thundercat.
He's just Steven.
It was just Steven Bruner. I went to school with Ronald Bruner and Steven Bruner. We went to school together. And Terrence Martin.
Wow.
And I know Kamasi watched all those guys. I've known those guys since high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did the jazz gig, and a month later, the bass player, Dale Atkins, he hit me up. He told me, he liked the way I played. And he told me, there's an artist they're trying to put a band together for an artist. No audition, you would just show up and start rehearsals on Monday at center staging.
Okay.
I remember I'm like, I didn't know who Jessica Simpson was at the time because, there's no social media,
You never had social media.
Yeah, right. And I never
Until today.
Yeah. So he told me just show up, he can talk to the music director, which Herman Jackson. Okay, he was the music director. This guy, Herman Jackson's played for Whitney Houston. He was playing American Idol. He was one of the keyboardists for that. He's done a lot of Stevie Wonder. I mean, you name it. He's done it, So he calls me. He's like, I heard you're a pretty good keyboard player. And, me at the time, I'm like, yeah, I think so, and then cool. Finally, he told me, so be at center staging at 11 a.m. and we'll start rehearsals. And that was my first time playing with the big artists.
That's dope.
Yeah, with no audition.
Well,
just word of mouth, just show up. Yeah, I don't want to say I'm nobody, but
they give you music or anything to rehearse? Did they give you
we show up. We no music. We show up and they'll play the song and then we just kind of learn the songs on there at the rehearsal.
Classic.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, so that was so that's that, and then from there, I started playing at another church where I learned a lot of the gospel stuff. So by this time, I've already played in a Baptist church, playing the quartet gospel stuff. I already went through the Spanish churches playing the tunga tunga.
Yeah, tunga tunga.
And then from there, and then now I'm playing gospel, little pop music, and then gospel music, and jazz, of course. Jazz has been pretty much throughout my my whole life, and. Yeah, so I just kind of kept going from there. I think I played with a few other artists, and I've done a lot. Like I can't even think of everything I've done. I do, and then when I hit about 30, I was playing with Jennifer Lopez with J-Lo. We call her Jen. Yeah, I got to do her world tour, and we pretty much traveled the whole world for like 6 months with her.
Was Siono already?
That was Siono. Brian Siono was the music director. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that whole unit was a great unit, great musicians. It was pretty much the band was pretty much Free Chapel band.
Yeah.
With Norman Jackson and Fausto Cuevas.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Free Chapel band. Yeah, because at the time it was Charles Streeter, Brian Siono, Carnell Harrell, and that's it. Them three they played at Free Chapel. And then then Adam Hawley was I don't know if you know Adam Hawley. Yeah. He came in too, and myself and Fausto Cuevas, percussionist.
Crazy band.
Yeah.
Crazy band.
Yeah. So it was a good time, man. That was my first big tour, like traveling the world.
6 months.
Yeah. 6 months, yeah. We did come home I think twice, and for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And but then we would go back. Once we left to Europe, we were there for like maybe 3.5 months. But I traveled everywhere with them, I was able to travel, and it's fun.
Did you go to Russia?
I did go to Russia, yeah.
Okay. The only reason I bring that up is because a couple weeks ago I was at Free Chapel, and Sugarfoot. Okay. Sugarfoot's the drummer that used to play with Michael Jackson. Yep. So he did all that Thriller and stuff. Legendary guy. Yep. So he's there, and he's talking to Brian, and then Brian's telling us the story of I met him in Russia. So I wonder if you were there.
We were backstage.
Backstage. Okay.
Yeah. They were doing some Michael Jackson type show without Michael. I don't know what it was.
Okay.
And they actually came to the show. They were backstage. I think it was before the show, or after the show.
Okay.
But Sugarfoot was in the bag with us, hanging out. Really nice guy. Yeah. Really cool people. But that was at St. Petersburg. So, as a matter of fact, that was my birthday that day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
we were. Awesome. It was same. Yep. That was my birthday. Awesome. Yeah. November 8th. And it's funny, because this is crazy. That band, okay, so it's pretty much the band and then 2 singers, okay? Myself, right? Me and the singer next to me, we had the same birthday. Wow. Now check this out. The singer and the other keyboard player, they had the same birthday.
What?
What is the coincidence of that? Like it's crazy. Like we have the same birthday, they had the same birthday.
That's crazy.
That's like
I think the zodiac signs must be real.
That would be like some Illuminati.
Brujería, hermano.
Yeah. So that's crazy. But yeah, from there I've been able to play with a few other people. I mean, there's a whole bunch of names like the Pani mentioned and stuff like that.
David Israel.
And
David Israel.
And
most important.
And also David.
The most important.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow. Well, I have 2 questions, but I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. But one would be, who is the person that you were most excited about playing with?
Okay.
And the other one, the opposite. Who like you play with, and you're like,
okay.
Oh, I can't say that.
I don't know. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't say the name.
I'll say the one that I'm like most excited to play with. His name was David Foster.
Oh,
yeah. David. It was. I can't say he hired him. He didn't hire me. They put a band. We were part of a band for an event, and they brought him as a special guest with his wife, Catherine. And they had us like learn the music. So they sent us I guess they did hire us, because they sent us all the music and stuff like that.
Bro. He hired you.
But for me to play second keys behind David Foster was like man, like,
legend.
Yeah. Like, David Foster is the man. Like,
Yeah.
So you got Quincy, then you got David Foster, and then Babyface.
Babyface.
Hope they don't see this, but
Babyface will. He's a fan.
Yeah, no, yeah. But yeah, David Foster was definitely one of my all-time like man, I got to play with David Foster, and then I got to play with David Israel too.
What a coincidence! And now you're meeting David Barrera.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah. So David Foster, and it's funny because on that show, right before we were at soundcheck, the rhythm section we're all soundchecking right now. It was actually me playing soundchecking keys, and then I see David Foster come in, and I'm like, oh man, here he goes, And he comes up to me, he's like, I don't like when the keyboard player is better than me in my band.
Yeah, but what a compliment!
Yeah, what a compliment! Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I'm like, I was speechless. I'm like, wow, crazy. Okay, well, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
One of the goats.
Really good. Yeah. He was really good, And I wasn't trying to show off in front of him. I was just sound checking and stuff like that. But yeah.
But when you play with somebody like that, you're gonna bring it.
Yeah,
you have to bring it. You have to bring it. Yeah.
Well, for me, like. In whatever I do, like,
bring it,
like, especially when it comes to music, this is what I do. Like, this is what I do.
Right.
Like, there's like no, I can't do that. Or, if it's possible and we could think about it, then we could do it, Right. Yeah, we have to always bring it,
Bring it.
Yeah.
But somebody like that, you're like, I'm going to bring it tonight.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah, so he walked in like, I don't like when the keyboard player is better than me in my band.
I prefer that, just for the record.
Yeah.
I prefer when the keyboard player is better than me.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So that's the best.
Yeah, and then the
most exciting person.
And you know what? I can really think. I mean, I can think of one person, but I'm not going to mention that name. But not even that bad, Like someone that I wouldn't want to work with. Well, actually, I don't work with that person anymore.
Okay.
Her.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just keep it at that.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced anything? Because we hear maybe rumors, the music industry, there's evil stuff behind the scenes, or the Grammys or things like that. Did you ever witness anything like that? That's like, oh man. And how did you maybe even, if you did, how did you protect yourself from it?
I never really like personally seen stuff backstage or anything like that. I mean, I've signed contracts where like, oh, don't say whatever you see in the backstage, don't say, you cannot say nothing to no one or whatever. I've signed those contracts, but I've never really seen anything like that. I've seen when we're doing shows, I've seen like certain subliminal messages on the screens, on the LEDs, when they're showing the videos and the concert. I've seen that kind of stuff. But me personally, like not really like personally where like, oh man, that person's, worshiping the devil right now. Like, no, I've never seen that. When we like the times that like when I did J-Lo, I mean, we prayed to God. She would have everyone get together and pray, to God. Yeah.
Wow.
But never, I've never really seen anything like that. And thank God I don't want to, I don't want to be involved in that. And if I did see something like that, you know what, I'm not going to let that discourage me or you know, make me like or be very religious. Like, no, you know, like, no. Right. You know, I know who I believe in. And if that's who you want to believe in, then that's on you, you know. But you know where I come from. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so all the way from Honduras, 7-year-old coming to the United States, start your music journey, start playing for amazing people, travel the world. What is that like now that you look back, and as you, I mean, we're in America, right? I'm an immigrant. I'm hopefully waiting for my documents sometime to come up. David, your parents, you have told us, David Barrera, your parents came here from Mexico and they got their citizenship through Ronald Reagan in like the 80s.
In the 80s, yeah.
Right? In the 80s.
Yeah.
So it is kind of like it is a journey and it's not easy, right? To attain the citizenship or all of that. And now you kind of like have had the privilege of traveling and doing what you love. What is that like, and what do you say to other people that...
So just real quick, I just became a citizen too back in March.
Really?
I've been a permanent resident for a long time. I just became a citizen back in March. Thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
First time I got my passport and, I was all excited to go through custom. They just scan your eyes. They didn't even look at my passport. I'm like, dude, what? I need this for now. They just get my eyes. But anyways, I was excited about that for a long time. I mean, being here 35 years, and first as an immigrant, then through TPS, I think TPS, and then became a permanent resident and for like 10 years, and I was a citizen.
That's awesome.
But being everything that I experienced in my life, the traveling, my family, my kids, my girls, everything to me, the good and bad, like everything, like the bad situations, the good times. So good times and bad times, all that stuff to me, I can still say I'm blessed, because we cannot enjoy the good times if we haven't had any bad times. It makes us appreciate the good times even more when you go through struggles. It makes us stronger if you think about it. The hard times makes us stronger. I know it has, because I've gone through depression. I've been through that. I was suicidal before, where I wanted to kill myself. I've been through stuff even as a kid, stuff that I haven't really told no one, but I don't let it tear me down, like to me, it's, sorry, I don't want to cry, you guys, but, I think it's made me stronger as a person, and it hurts a little bit, but at the same time, I'm grateful for it because it makes me who I am now, and I'm just, I can say, I can say I'm blessed. I've been blessed to travel the world, see different cultures, see everything, and not just that. I mean, just being able to play music, do what I love to do in church and out of church. Everything to me, it's all a blessing, and for those who play music and want to pursue this in music, there's no shortcuts to music, to being good. There's no shortcuts. You have to practice. It takes a lot of practice, and I get guys coming up to me like, dude, how you play like that, or how you do that? I'm like, it takes a lot of practice. The thing is that, are you willing to put in the work? Do you want to work? How bad do you want to be good? Right. How bad do you want to be good?
Yeah.
That's a question like you got to ask yourself, so, and then after that, music not just about playing. It's about listening. Yeah. It's about research, analyzing, solidifying everything you play to be good. So when if I tell guys that, it's like, man, that's a lot. That might be a lot to do, but you have to start somewhere if you want to do it. Yeah, you have to start somewhere.
How many hours did you use to practice piano when you first started?
When I first started piano, I was probably practicing 6 to 8 hours a day in high school. I was 16 years old. I mean, I had the time, and even all the way to about maybe 21, 22, I would practice, and I still practice every once in a while now. Not all the time. Actually, I think I practiced last week for like 10 minutes. Yeah. But I have a lot of experience. I already, I've played many many gigs. You know, I've done thousands and thousands of gigs, and even playing at church services and all that stuff. I've done it all. So all that adds up to your, you know, even the good gigs, the bad gigs, everything. It all adds up to experience.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, like I could say that I was a better piano player 20 years ago than I am now.
How?
Okay. The only thing about now is that I still know what I did back then, but you know, I kind of slowed down and I'm a little more wiser with how I play. I feel like I play way less now than what I did back then. You know, and that's not even a bad thing. I just feel like I'm more in the pocket now,
right,
with a band than what I've been back then. Now to me, it's more like it's not about us. When we're playing as a group, whether it's worship team or secular, it's not about us. It's about that one sound, one band, us being together, connected. And we're, you know, whether we're in, to me personally, whether we're in church or out there, where music brings us together.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the body of Christ, right? That one part cannot function without the rest.
Right. Yeah.
Once you realize that everything has to work at the same time and together, that's when you get the full harmony.
Yep, exactly.
And
yep.
The word of God say, when you guys come and agree each other, God is happy.
Yeah.
When that happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And while you're speaking and tell us your story, and I'm trying, you know, this is with music. But I'm taking that, like how I can apply what he's telling me, you know, to be a mom, because I'm not a musician, but I am a mom.
Yeah.
You know, and how many hours I spend with my kids.
Yeah.
What quality? How many hours I spend cooking, cleaning my house? Like, you know, this counts too.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
To give my 100% to my family and agree with my husband and with my kids. Sometimes it's not easy.
Yeah.
We're not playing the
We're
same
dissonant.
sound. You know? And
Yeah, it's hard, especially like nowadays. Like life is very busy. Like I just feel like everything's always just moving. I feel like I'm always moving, doing this, doing that. And then my daughters, I have a 15 and 16-year-old, and they have their own schedule.
Right.
I feel like I'm on their schedule most of the time. You know, like I'm not lying. Like I make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trips to the school every day. Wow. I go 4. I go take one of my daughters, come back. Then I got to pick up get the other one, take her to school, come back, then go pick up the other one, come back home, then pick up the other one from school. Like it's crazy. That's me every morning, you know. But I do it because I love them, and it's you know, it's for them, you know, like
right.
Yeah.
And they love music. At least one. I remember seeing one of them playing.
Yeah, one of them. She loves music. She plays bass.
Yeah.
She got a little distracted. She got a little friend, you know. Yeah.
Special friend.
Well, she's not talking to him no more, you know. Okay. But she did
picking up the bass.
She kind of had that bug, that musician bug, you know. Because there's another thing. A lot of musicians, there's people out there that they want to play music, but they don't have that bug. They don't have that within them to really like play the music, you know. She did, you know, or she does. You know, I had it. You know, music's like everything to me. You know, like it's. I mean, it's music's not just music to me. Music's what I am. This music's what I do. It's a part of me. It's my life. Right. Since I was a kid, you know, it's my passion. It's a passion that I have. You know, and that's one thing that she has. And there's a lot of guys that probably still play music, but don't really have that bug to. You know, that's what makes us practice too. You know, like because we want to be good. We want to be good at what we do. So. You know, you got to have that bug. You got to have that passion within you to do it. That's why when I get those guys that are like, oh, dude, how you do it? It's like, because maybe they don't have that passion, or maybe they don't have the time. It's different situations. It's different for everyone. Some people might not have the time to practice, you know, because of life and work and all this stuff. But so, you know, it's kind of hard for them. Like once you get to that point, what was the question?
That one's great. It was just about your daughters, you know, being musicians.
Oh yeah.
But I want to ask this, you know, and this will be my last question, and then we can go around and see, you know, if anybody wants to say anything else. But mine would be, what makes a good mentor in music, right? Like who mentored you, and if they were good, what was good about it?
Yeah, my mentor, man, it was in high school when I met him. Met him in high school. It's crazy because when I got out of junior high, my first high school actually wasn't my home school. I didn't go to my home school for high school. I went to a school in the Valley called Taft High School. You know, I didn't want to go to my school because I grew up in a rough neighborhood. Like I grew up in South LA. You know, if you know, so for those of you who live in LA, if you know where the 105 and the 110 meet, that was my neighborhood. Okay, well, the 105 and the 110 meet. Yeah, that's pretty rough. On my side was Cribs. On the other side of the freeway was Bloods. You know, there wasn't really any Mexican gangs in that area. It was just Bloods and Cribs. Oh, Cribs and Bloods. You know.
Because we're hardworking, we don't gamble.
Yeah. So I grew up there. So I didn't want to go to my home school, which is Locke High School, because that school, when I was in junior high, it was always on the news with riots and all that stuff. I wanted to go to a good school, so I ended up going to Taft High School, and I only lasted maybe a semester, like 3 months at Taft, which is too perfect. You know, you got this little boy from the hood going into a school that's like just like wow. You know, so I went to Locke. I went back to my home school. And I was getting tired of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to catch a bus all the way over there. Like, it was just too much. Crazy. Yeah, so I went to my high school, my home school, which is Locke High School. And they gave me my classes. And I'm like, I want to take a music class. So I took, I think, like theory or something. So I walked into the classroom, and I sat down. And, you know, it was full class, music class. And then my music teacher comes in. And he saw me. And then towards the end of the class, at the end of the class, he goes into his office. He called me. He was like, Mr. Jackson, come here. He would call me Mr. Jackson. He calls me in. He don't know who I am. He don't even know that I play piano or drums or any instrument. He calls me, and he's like, would you like to do music for a living?
Wow.
Yeah.
He put the little seed in you.
Wow.
So, and that's where it started. Like, where I'm like, yes, I want to do music for a living. You know, in 9th grade, I was 14 or 15 years old. That's where I decided, like I want to play music. I want to be a musician. So he's the one that influenced me into music. He's the one that got me into jazz. He's the one that talked to me how they would talk to me in the industry according to my actions and how I would act to it. If I did something bad, well, this is how they're going to treat you because of that. Right. You know, you messed up on that song. That chart. Okay, this is what they're going to tell you. Like he was a great mentor, and he didn't just mentor me. Okay, I can name. I don't know for those of you who are watching, he mentored Patrice Rushen and Dougal Chancellor, who's a drummer that played on Billie Jean. Oh, wow. Yeah, you know that. Yeah. God, he went to my high school. He graduated from my high school, but he graduated in 1969. Patrice Rushen, I don't know, pianist. She, you know, the song Men in Black. Oh, yeah. Here comes I don't sing, but yeah. She's the one that wrote that song, but it was different lyrics, but she wrote that song. Wow. Great pianist. I mean, she sounds like Herbie on piano. Wow. Great pianist. So he mentored her. Earth, Wind & Fire's horn section. If you guys know who Earth, Wind & Fire is, Gary Baez, Reggie Young. There's one more. I forget his name. They graduated from Locke, from my high school. He mentored them in the 70s and early 80s. Tyrese Gibson. Oh yeah. The singer actor. He graduated from my high school too. He actually when he graduated, I was going in the year after. Oh. Yeah. I missed him by 1 year. You know, and then
that was like a good high school for that.
And Ron Bruner, they all went, yeah. And then he also mentored other people from other schools. But I was around all that, you know, like all that. And I mean, I saw him every day because I had like 2 or 3 music classes with him every day. But it got to a point where when I started playing piano that he didn't have me in a class no more. He would just tell me to go next door to the band room and just practice on piano. And, you know, because everything that he would give me, I would learn it, memorize it. And not music, but theory and harmony and all that stuff. All the boring stuff, like I just knew like nothing. You know, all the numbers. So I mean, sometimes I'll help him with the class. Like, you know, you got some kid, what's a major third from C? I'm like, that's E. You know, like to me, I'm like, I know all this stuff already. So he didn't have to like, you know, teach me anymore. Yeah. He gave me my first music book, my first 2 music books, and he's the one that really got me into all this, into music. Well, yeah. So his name is Reggie Andrews. He passed away 2 years ago. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's 74, I believe. But yeah, he passed away 2 years ago. Reggie Andrews. Wow. I'll never forget him. He's like, you know, mentor so many people. Yeah. And great man, you know, a great mentor, you know. The thing was, he wasn't like this nice guy. He was, but he wasn't. Like, he was like, straight. Tells you straight, like, how it's going to be. Yeah.
Okay, on the scale from 1 to
Whiplash.
How was he?
No, he wasn't that bad. I think he was probably like a 12. No, he was probably like a 5. You know, he was like a 5 from that.
That's good.
Without the physical part.
No flying cymbals.
That's a new music skill. 1 to whiplash.
From 1 to Whiplash.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's awesome. Let's I don't know, David or Millie, whichever wants to throw in maybe your last question, last comment.
Well, you know what? I remember that I met him at a Roca Firme concert, and we just hit it off, and we became really good friends like right away. I don't even know what we have in common, but maybe it's our sense of humor or whatever it is. Yeah. But I mean, we're always been ourselves, and maybe that's what has always kept our friendship going. Yeah. But I remember going to his house, and I didn't even know I could write songs or try to sing or anything. And he had this, I think you had a Korg.
There's a Korg Trinity at the time,
Wow.
yeah. That's before we were doing music in computer. Everything was all just like keyboard.
Yeah, he didn't even have a stand. I remember that he had one of those
chair.
The chairs that have the plastic on them. Yeah. That's where he would put the piano. And then I remember he just started playing something, and I think he told me or write something, and then it just started from there. And then we've been doing music since that day.
Yeah.
You know, I've changed a little bit, but
physically, no. The music, the music changed many times. But you know, I've known David since was that 22 years now?
Yeah,
man, it went by so fast. Like, I mean, the last 20 years been they just fly. But you know, I love David, man. He's like a brother to me. You know, I've seen him in his bad times, you know, in good times, and I'm pretty sure he's seen me when I was feeling down, and you know, when I'm happy, you know. Yeah, so thank you, man. Love you, man.
Love you too, brother.
Millie, stand up so they can hug each other.
Bro moment.
A bro moment.
Yeah.
Millie, what's your comment or question? Final.
I'm just, I love what you mentioned before. The life is tough.
It is,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But to be in that moment, if we don't experience that, how we can take the good, right, and experience the happiness and whatever good we have. It's I can see my kids sometimes they're having a hard times, and I feel like I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yep.
I'm so sorry, and it's painful, and it's hard for me to see you crying and frustrated and sad.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be so good for you.
Yeah.
I just want to give them everything.
Yeah.
But sometimes I can't.
Right.
And it's like, God, you're doing something. I feel like you have a plan for them, and you have a plan for us. Yeah. Just help us to keep being strong and standing in that truth that He is good, and no matter what situation we're passing through. Sometimes feel like this test is taking forever. Yeah. I don't know if you've been there. When it's gonna end. I've been through this for 10 years. I feel like it's over. Please, God, bring us to another level. And, and I get kind of frustrated, but I just for me, it's just want to refocus, you're doing something and you are great and you are good all the time. And when I listen to your story, you really struggle in life. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine to be without your mom. Yeah. You're a child. You need your mom. Yeah. How hard is that? And the traumas and whatever. And just let's keep going. Maybe music was one of your happy place where you can release all that feelings. Yes. Right? And, and
definitely. Music, it is my happy place. It's where I get to express myself, because we have our instrument, but even if we don't have an instrument, we have it internally, we could play. Everything's all us. It's coming from us. Like everything, music comes from within us. You know, that's why it's so spiritual. You know, with the kid thing, you know, I got 2 girls. You know, I got 4. I got 2 biological kids and 2 step kids. I raised my step kids since they were 3 and 8. Now they're 22 and 28.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. And then, of course, I got my biological girls who are 15 and 16. And they're teenagers right now. Girls, you know, they want everything. And, you know, and again, like I said, I feel like I'm on their schedule most of the time, not my schedule. You know, like I got things to do, but like, oh, they got things to do too. They have rehearsals and practice and all this stuff too. So it's a little hard with teenagers. You know, it's different. But the thing about, like you were saying about, we cannot really, they need to know how to struggle too. They need to understand hardship and like, you know, that not everything, you know, because me as a dad, I give them everything they want, you know, and I kind of do. My wife doesn't give in as the way I do, but I think that's good for them to like understand too that you're not gonna get everything you want. It's not always gonna be your way. You need to understand that, you know, some in life, like not everything is gonna be, you know, it's gonna be given to you, or you know, you're gonna have to work for it, or you gotta work hard for something, or whatever you want. And I think that's very important, you know, to teach our kids and like my kids with my girls, and I'm working on that myself. You know, my wife is good at that, like how to discipline them and be more, you know, strict with them and stuff like that. I'm the okay, you want this? Okay, you know, they have my card, my debit card on their phones. You know, it's like that. But they know not to use it unless you know, they confirm with us first. Yeah, one of those, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. David Barrera, your final comment or question.
Just good to meet you. Good to meet both of you.
Yeah. Good to meet you, brother.
Heard a lot about you.
Nice
Heard a lot about you. Yeah, so good to meet you, bro.
Yeah,
good
man.
To, you know, meet somebody who, just musically, you've been all over the place, and it's awesome. You know.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've always heard a great Norman Jackson stories on the keys and stuff. So it's good to you know, to finally sit here and chat.
Yeah.
With you.
No, thank you, man. Yeah.
It's good to know you a little bit. And same likewise, bro.
Yeah.
Likewise with you.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for having me today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my friends, for listening or watching today. Visit us at christianpodcast.com. Like, subscribe, share this episode with a friend. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
So my son is playing guitar.